And yeah, today we're going to hear from James Orrigo, who is doing some amazing work, and your company, the Lad in a Battle. And I'm going to be asking you about that name later on if you're not going to give it as part of your presentation. So first of all, James, thank you so much for coming. Absolute pleasure and honor to have you here. I'm going to give them a bit of a background to how we met, and then I'll hand over to you. Then we're going to have a bit of a conversation between the two of us, and hopefully we'll have some input from the crowd as well. Is that all right?
Sounds great.
Excellent. Okay, so about a year and a half ago, something like that, year and a half ago, got an email, or somebody introduced us. Somebody introduced us. I'm not sure who. Basically explained that Daniel wanted you to meet James. The work he does is amazing. I won't give it away. So we got in touch, and you had a couple of questions how you could adapt your work to the pandemic. That was kind of the background. And I gave you some advice, what I thought might work. About 2 months later, I got an email back. You had grabbed the bull by the horns, put everything in place, were swinging, came out of the gate swinging. It was amazing. So happy. And I think you'll agree once you've heard about James's work that the impact he's having with his work is amazing. And so partly it's just to get to meet James, but also to see if there's any way you want to support or get involved, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. So without any further ado, over to James Orrigo. Give him a big, warm Educators in VR welcome, please. There we go.
All right. Nice.
And over to you, James. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. If we're doing well, let me get a little hand raise if you have hands.
Yeah.
But if you don't, just do a little emoji one more time. Hey, all right. So now I can see who's got the VR. This is good. All right. Hey.
Yeah.
So it's so good to get to be here with you all and get to connect. And just share some stories and some personal experiences, and hopefully you can take away some of this stuff. With how we're using this technology in really creative ways. So we're doing basically what we ended up doing, meeting up with Daniel, is we created this whole idea of the Big Dreams virtual tour, and breaking that down, I basically work with pediatric patients, kids who are battling life-threatening illnesses, whether they're on hospice or battling terminal cancer or just are in the hospital room fighting this disease. I basically help them to dream big, and using VR and virtual environment, you're able to do some really incredible stuff using this stuff. Which, I mean, you guys understand that more so than anyone. But it's just been absolutely incredible. We're helping kids and teens and their families escape some of this difficult realities that people are facing with their illnesses. So it's truly powerful. And I want to show you a video that just kind of gives you a little bit more of a background, so you can kind of see the folks that we're working with and what we're doing. But I reached out and connected. We were really just trying to figure out how to use this technology in creative ways, and it worked. So I want to show you a quick video. Let's see here.
Cool.
So normally when I'd be putting on this uniform, I would be getting on an airplane with my portable recording studio and guitar and be flying all over the country
to help pediatric cancer patients write, record, and animate their own cartoon music videos.
Because of all this kind of change of situation with all the virus stuff, we're adapting to the situation as well.
I'm so excited to announce that I'm teaming up with Children's Cancer Research Fund to start a whole new initiative focusing on virtual reality and ultimately just bringing an incredible experience to them right where they are. And thanks to Zoom, we have been able to connect with so many of these amazing families.
3,500 foot in the air!
We're using this technology in really creative ways. We're giving these kids not only unique experiences, but we're preserving legacies, and more importantly, we're giving a special outlet during these really difficult times. And the results have been incredible. And I think the coolest part is seeing how it's bringing people together from all over the country in the most wonderful way.
There's a little tab that you pull up. Yeah. And then let it fly.
my! Whoa! It's the leaning tower of Sloth in the background. It's gonna be epic. So if they're in a hospital or if they're at their home, we're gonna be able to transport them to anywhere that they can possibly think of.
I just thought it was like amazing to be in like another world. And it was like going somewhere that you've never been before. And like it was just so realistic. It's just been like a thrill.
What'd you think of that?
It was great. How can I do that again?
You did awesome. You crushed it. And
Now can we go back to that space I can control myself in?
yeah.
So
Amazing.
that's
Amazing.
one of the videos.
Goosebumps.
Oh, appreciate it. So that's, kind of to show you a little bit more about what I do. And so, it's a whole nother game of like teaching tech support to like you make these Oculus devices to, kids and teens, and you're teaching them how to use these devices, which a whole nother game. But once we get them into engage and moving, and it's just absolutely incredible what they're able to do. And
Fantastic.
yeah, it's pretty special stuff. And just a couple things that, you all know the importance of VR, and you've seen kind of the impact. But man, when you can give these tools to kids who need it the most, it really just opens the door wide. You're giving that full control, unleashing their creativity. And one of the coolest things is we're creating these videos and then putting them out for their community, so that way a lot of these kids who are battling these illnesses or something, they usually have a community of Facebook groups and all this stuff, and people want to see them thrive. And when we can have something that they're proud of, we're helping them create these cartoon music videos and video games and all this stuff. And when they start, when they're proud of these things that they're creating, we make songs, all sorts of, then they get to share it with their families and share it with their Facebook communities, and it gets them excited about creating in general. And I think that's something really kind of special. And I want to show you this girl here. Her name was Kaylee, and she was a patient that we work with. You saw her in the video. She's shooting the rocket. She was like absolutely in love with the entire experience in general, and it was so important to her because she was battling terminal cancer, and she was on hospice when we were able to meet with her. So they had only given her a few weeks left, and so we wanted to get her a part of the program. So we sent her this device, and even though she hadn't been able to walk much anymore because the cancer had affected her legs and everything like that, but when she got this device and we were walking her through it, she was having so much fun. She was getting so into it that in that video you can see she says to her mom, she goes, "Mom, I want to stand." And we're like, "No, it's okay, you can stay sitting." But she was having so much fun and was so excited about this technology. She decided to stand, and that, like, I'm crying, her mom's crying, like we're trying to hold it back because that was a humongous deal. When she's been in a wheelchair and stuck on the bed, she stands and she's having a time of her life, forgetting for a moment all this pain that she'd been going through and all the medication. So it was just like it moved everyone, and we created this whole. We wanted to go skiing down a mountain, and her sisters would come, her baby sisters. So that's like an example. We put a green screen background on her and dressed up in her snow gear, and we made a whole thing. And it's just so cool because the family's all getting together. Then everyone's sharing the VR device. We're streaming it so that way the family could watch. And it's just, and you can see this is what the mom said. She said, Kaylee had so much fun creating this game, and we're bringing so much fun into a dark time for Kaylee. We're forever grateful. And after she had passed, it's terrible. But now the family can always press play and hear her voice and hear her laughing and hear her punching stuff and looking at dragons and all sorts of stuff. So just
having the time of her life.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just so powerful. And when all this stuff ended up happening, it ended up we knew it was working, and so did the families know it was working. But then Zoom ended up finding that it worked too. So we ended up winning Zoom's overall innovation award for 2020.
Amazing.
Which was
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it was just because you're a small group of folks, and we have a team of people that help make the videos and music and all this stuff from all over the world. And it was just a huge deal when Zoom's used by everybody, and yet our small idea that had that you had helped teach me how to even use Engage, and like I didn't know what the heck was going on, and you showed the way, and we just we ran, and it worked. And a little bit of my background about I never knew anything about any of this stuff, or was ever interested in working in this field at all, but it was mainly because of my mom. And my mom, she had battled terminal cancer. All growing up, this was very close to home. And you would it's one thing when you see your mom or an adult going through these terrible illnesses and treatments.
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing when you see little kids going through this stuff, and just it's just absolutely heartbreaking. And I wanted to find a way to use my gifts to help people, but at the time I didn't know what the gifts were, so like never got involved in anything. I was more into sports, and lacrosse in particular. And one day, this kid on the other team, he comes running up to me full speed, and he literally cross checks me to the throat with his metal lacrosse stick, and it has so much force behind it, lifts me completely up off the ground, smashes my head off the ground, and then by the time I get up to my feet again, the same kid comes running with the second for the second time with his metal lacrosse stick, and he comes, as I turn, he just smashes me in the side of the temple and snaps my neck over, and I just end up lying lifeless on the ground, and this kid's standing over me saying, "Get up, you blank, blank, blank." And it was just crazy to see that someone took a simple game of sport way too far, and it ended up leading to this pretty bad brain injury, and I had to learn how to do a lot of things. But like, I wouldn't be able to hold a conversation like this with you without my speech completely stuttering, and difficulty reading and writing, all this stuff that I'd taken for granted. But out of this whole thing, it ended up taking about 2.5 years to get back to normal. Schools telling me to quit because I couldn't keep up with the curriculum, and it was just a whole nother scene. My mom, she never, she just wanted to keep pushing me forward and helping me. And one of the ways she did that was through music. And so my neighbor would hire him to come over for a couple of weeks to teach me how to play guitar. And it was awesome because guitar made sense when I'd have so much difficulty talking and reading and writing. Music, you could draw out your notes, you could sing, you could make up silly songs, and that it would just click. It was like this aha moment of like, oh, how can maybe we can use music to help people and to bring joy, and it totally worked, and it sparked her. But time had gone on. She passed on, and then I'm the one there that to then tell my brother, my sister, my dad that this terrible news, that this person that you love so much no longer. And it's just and all of us, I feel have probably been impacted in one way, shape, or another with cancer or death or anything like that. But you want to find ways to keep carrying on people's legacies, and I want to play a song for you if that's with you guys.
Please, absolutely.
Try. And this is a song that I wrote.
So James is actually going to play the guitar right now live, right?
Yeah, that's the hope. But that's
so cool.
This was a song.
And your mic's up, or your volume up.
Yes, and this is a song I wrote for her. And it's a song called Valor, and it's about in life when there are obstacles or challenges, you can face each moment with a sense of strength and bravery and valor, then you can carry on. So this song's for Mom, but it applies to your own life, and just hopefully it can reach you in some way. I close my eyes, let it fall down. I open my heart, let it pour out. Your love. I close my eyes and try to understand. I close my eyes feel you again. I'm not losing hope, but it's just a picture that I thought I owned. And it's not for anymore. It's for valor. It's not for love anymore. It's for valor.
Wow,
Thank you.
James.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
So so music was that kind of healing
Thank you.
and outlet for myself, and I started seeing how you could take this music. Again, I never played guitar or sang or did anything like that until that brain injury, until seeing reinforcement of using music to help people, because I would use music to bring joy to my mom. We'd make silly songs all the time and do these different things. And after she passed, I just started thinking about, okay, well, how can I use these things that I like to do of making silly songs? I like to doodle a little bit,
Yeah.
like draw a little bit, and how can I combine this to do something wonderful? And that's what I started doing, applying it to the cancer units, and then it took off. We teamed up with Google and Beats by Dre and all sorts of folks, and now we work with Children's Cancer Research Fund to bring this joy to kids all over the country, and to do some incredible things for so many. And we're using these tools, like Zoom too. Everyone who hates Zoom, we're using it in creative ways to make it entertaining, to make it fun, and to reach so many more people in all their circumstances. And I want to tell you a quick story and show you a video about Gavin here. And Gavin is awesome, and he had been battling cancer, and he had just been through it. And we wanted to do something to bring his imagination to real life. When I worked with him in the hospital, he wanted to make a song about being a world famous magician and levitate things and do all this cool stuff. And as time went on, we wanted to bring his cartoon music video to real life. So what we started doing was we created the coolest Zoom magic show on earth, I feel like. And I want to show you the video just so you can see what we had done to kind of bring this joy. And again, Gavin, after he was done watching this, he's done watching this, he's so happy. He's been shown everybody in the grocery store. Anyone he saw, he was so proud of his video, of feeling like a celebrity. So
I have cancer, so like I had this like bone marrow transplant, and I had to get a piece of my bone taken. So like my cancer made me cry, so I found this guy to help me make my music video.
So now we wanted to do something special for him, especially with all this COVID stuff that's going on. We wanted to just show him that people are still rooting for him and people care. So basically we're going to be bringing his magic show to real life, except via Zoom. So we're going to get a little creative. Keep practicing your magic tricks. You're looking great.
I will.
Hi friends, welcome back. I'm so glad to see all of you today. How's everybody doing?
I'm very good. I love you.
Good. Okay, I'm going to take attendance to make sure all of our friends are here. We have Leah.
Present.
Hi Leah, I hope you had a good weekend.
Yes, I did. I got a big lovely dog.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm so glad to hear that you had so much fun. All right, who else is here? Let's see. Hello, Roman Duran. How are you?
I'm here.
I'm so glad to see you, Roman. All right, let's see who else is here. Gavin. Hello, Gavin. Oh, what is going on? Gavin's changing his name. Gavin the Great.
My new name is Gavin the Great.
I like it. I like it. All right, Gavin. Let's see what greatness you have for us today.
Gavin. Gavin.
Gavin? Is that you down there?
So small. My name is Gavin. I like jazz and silly. Mama teacher. Mama the campus. Way up. My name is Gavin.
Is that a rabbit?
Oh no, it's getting away.
Mama the campus.
Hi, it's Mr. Felix. How's everybody?
Where's that cup going?
What in the world?
My bad. I fixed it.
Oh, much better. Thank you, Gavin.
My name is Gavin. I like jazz and silly.
How are you doing now?
Mama teacher. Mama the campus. Way up. That was awesome, Gavin. Great job, Gavin. Thank you.
Amazing. Wow, that's amazing. I'm gonna have to re-enter. I'm not hearing you. I'll be right back. Don't worry. Unless you've muted yourself. I'll be right back.
I was
Oh,
muted. Sorry.
oh yeah, I do hear. Cool.
But
That's
I was gonna
amazing.
say, thank you. Well, and that's the thing. You watch that, and how can you get creative using those, and
Right.
and
That's so
filming
cool.
with everyone had so much fun, and it was so cool because these are called bridging rooms projects. When we do these big productions with schools and stuff, all those were students from all over the country that would tune in. So our goal is to try to bridge the gap between the hospital room and the classroom. And so we
Yeah.
have a ton of these productions that we've been putting on that are just next level stuff and super creative, but all to try to make a pediatric patient just feel special and cared about, and show him him or her how many people are rooting for them, and it totally
Yeah.
works. And
Amazing.
it's-
You can see in their faces how involved and moved they are. Fantastic.
totally, we have like a bunch of different stories about so many folks that we've worked with, and we're just kind of getting started with all this. So now we're pivoting and we're creating a whole virtual reality like summer camp. So right now we're sending out these like top secret boxes filled with all these super cool goodies, and they're all each other box has a lock on it, and they have to do a scavenger hunt to find the key for the lock. And so we have 10 patients all over the country that will be getting these big lock boxes, and we're just trying to get creative, because so many of these kids missing out on these summer camp experiences because they're stuck in the hospital, because they're so immunocompromised, can't be out and about doing this stuff. So we're bringing that to them. So it's just going to be next level. So we're sending devices and the Oculus Quest 2s, and we're meeting up with them and engaged, having scavenger hunts, and we're also working with visual effects artists, these top level visual effects artists from all over the country. We have people in Italy and Israel and all this stuff that will then be working via Zoom with patients and their families to help them just like create just the coolest stuff ever, and that they get to share. And the whole goal of it is then to hopefully bring more eyes and funds towards Children's Cancer Research Fund, so that we can try to get more research, more out there for these kids, and finding ways to get creative with bringing that research to the forefront and bringing that awareness, because pediatric cancer is super underfunded, unfortunately. And so our goal is just to try to bring as much attention to that as possible, and we're doing it in creative different ways to try to get the importance of
you have to stand out to
involved.
get the attention it deserves.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah, sorry
Well,
for the rant, but those are a little bit about what I do, and
guys,
appreciate
please, the biggest round of love and props to James. I remember you telling me your story when we first met, and I remember on the day we first met, you thinking, this guy's a hero. For me, you will always be a hero. I know you probably don't feel that way, but the size of your heart and the size of what you're giving to other people is inspiring to me. And so I'm going to ask this as the first question, and I'll probably ask it as the last one. What can we or what can anybody here do to support what you're doing if they are so inclined, big or small? We have a lot of creative people in this community. With regards to VR and AR. Yeah, so how can we reach you, and what can we do to help you and help your cause?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm always open to any ideas and any suggestions. You know what I mean? Like, we're just kind of skimming the surface, doing the bare minimum on virtual reality and stuff, but we're getting involved, because we have to be so delicate with, their motion sickness and different things. We have to find a good medium, but I'm always open for, like, again, any suggestions, ideas. We're always trying to push the boundaries of what can we create.
And what's the
Like,
easiest
and
way
when you
to
were
get
talking
in
about
touch with you?
Yeah, the easiest one probably through Instagram would be the best.
Lad in a battle?
Instagram. Yep.
Lad in a
the
battle
best
at
way.
Instagram. Lovely. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And for those of you, the Engage platform. I know, James, you have a license there and you use that to do some of the work. So if anybody's inclined to find out more or help us support and, Engage, maybe that's one way to get involved, or you have other ideas. Thanks, Laurel. Yes, I'll handle we'll do Q&A in a minute, and I'll explain how people can ask questions. But yes, so yeah, you use Engage. But before this session today, we were also talking, you're not only using VR, you're using AR, like Snapchat filters, you're integrating into videos. I love how you're taking the best bits of each of the technologies and making them shine in a different way. I've never seen Zoom used like that. That's cool. Like,
Well,
I hate it a little less.
Well, and that's the goal. I know, right? It's the goal. And yeah, I mean, gosh, and when you're talking about the face filters and stuff, what we're able to do on Instagram is like next level. I mean, just recently we worked with a boy. His name is Gavin. He's 16 years old. When we met him, he was given 1 to 3 weeks to live. He has a terrible, just awful brain cancer called IPG, which is just one of the worst. And I found out about him and heard his story and was like, oh, okay, let's help him create. So the next thing you know, we start talking, brainstorming. We meet up over Zoom. He loves cars and like Fast and Furious and drift racing and all this stuff. So next thing you know, we help him make this whole crazy experience where, we made him his own video game where he's like the main character drifting around. And the cool thing is, he wanted to make a game that brings awareness to his cancer called DIPG, this type of brain tumors. And so he wanted to make it for other kids who are in the hospital as well. So what we did was we used face filters. So instead of like pressing left and right, to drive this actual car, you just lean to the left, lean to the right. So for a lot of the kids with his disease in particular, they're able to do it no matter what their limitations are. And you open your mouth to open your mouth up wide to make it go fast and do. Amazing. So we use that face tracking to do some cool stuff. And you collect like brains, to
points
bring
along
awareness
the way.
Yeah. So it's just
that's
so
brilliant.
Cool what you can do with some of this stuff. It's wild.
I'm going to ask a few more questions. I'm going to open up to the audience in a minute. You mentioned a summer camp. Is there any support we can help with that? I don't know, with Educated VR on Engage, something like that. And I know you're raising money for the Children's Cancer Fund or Trust. But are you funded? Do you have the financial support you need? How big is your team, for example? How many people are involved in this?
So I team Children's Cancer Research Fund, and they support all these programs to then make it happen, which then in turn spreads all this awareness umbrella. Right. You know what I mean? Like we're able to now talk to all you folks, that we would never be able to do that before. So that's how we're kind of operate. And then we have a team of like contracted out folks. So I keep our team really small, but then anyone who helps on these certain projects, like, we have this guy in Russia who is incredible at making, cars and vehicles and all this stuff. So then we'll contract him out for a certain project and contract all these folks. But we have in my little wheelhouse of incredible creators, of musicians and videographers, there's about like 10 to 12 really solid people that help make stuff. But each one has their own different skills. So like if anyone's good at like world building and stuff like that, like that's something we we lack.
Right.
But,
So
but we're
now
diving
we're
into
talking. Now we're
nice.
talking because
Okay.
some of the people in this room have built worlds that are, still blowing my mind. And something that
Wow.
Laurel does and some of the other people is like world tours, where we take
Mm.
groups of people and maybe our team knows because we scout worlds, and
Oh,
then
cool.
we'll give like a guided tour of existing worlds. Laurel built an amazing called The Last Glacier, which is an educational world for you can literally walk into a glacier and see it melting and stuff like that. So in
Oh,
terms of world
cool.
building, I would like to think that if you reached out to our community, you might find somebody inclined to help and build, or maybe find something that already exists. We have an
Sure.
amazing
Yeah.
world, like an underwater world. Trying to think
Cool.
of all the different worlds we have. But yeah, world building, definitely get in touch with us if you have any needs there.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's what we're trying. Like in Engage, we're gonna have these 10 patients and then a couple other folks that we want to take them around and show them some cool experiences. Like one of the ideas
yeah,
we had was, to use that library platform area and actually
yeah,
hide different things. So you actually send them on a little scavenger hunt, like who can find X amount of,
yeah.
DNA helixes or whatever. Getting
I'd
creative
love
with
to introduce you in Engage. I'd love to introduce you now. What's his name? Paul. What's the Burcastle guy called? Paul somebody. We'll stay in touch by email later. I'll find his name.
Sure.
You need to meet him just because he'll show you what's possible in Engage, and that'll open
Cool.
your creative ideas for the stuff as well. Trying to think, Paul something. Anyway, yeah, I'll put you in touch with him. What we're gonna do now, if it's okay, I'm gonna set off the audience participation. So allow raise hands. You should now, if you look down to your right, see a raise hand option. This will allow you to indicate that you want to make a comment or have a quick chat with James or a question. Always best if you have a very direct and concise question, and then you can think about it. Oh, I'm just getting a call here. Sorry. I can turn that off for a moment. Right. Yeah, so take your time. If you have a comment or a question or a suggestion, or somebody who's battling a life-threatening illness, is that also
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
also
If you know anyone in the pediatric cancer world or anybody that's going through something, this program, everything's all completely free for the families and everything. So we work now
fantastic.
with virtual, do it all over. I mean, we just worked with a little girl in the Philippines. She wanted to ride on a unicorn throwing popcorn to the town. So next thing you know, we make her innovate the unicorn busts through her walls and she rides on the unicorn, flies all through the city. And we worked with some folks in
Beautiful.
England, and
Yeah,
it's
super. So you work with people anywhere.
right.
Okay, that's
We have the
amazing. Okay.
opportunity now to do so, and with different languages too now, so we can
Oh,
we
super.
have
Yeah,
translators that we'll bring onto our team, and that will help us
that's
make that
absolutely
happen
amazing.
too.
We got a couple of questions coming in. We've got, first of all, Shell. Shell, your mic should be on. Let us know where you are, and then ask away.
Yeah, hello. Very impressed, and I'd like to know, basically, first of all, my family suffered from cancer and died, my parents, when I was young. So it kind of runs in the family. So what I want to ask, what's pertinent to me, is that were they on an anesthetic of any kind? Because at the moment, I'm kind of can't really take much Panadol because kind of I get a reaction. So let's say if I was to contract cancer, and I mean, were they on anesthetic when they were doing the videos, or was it or is cancer controllable? In this environment to have fun
Yeah,
and still, yeah, that's what I'm asking.
that's a good question.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's tough. Each family they're going through whatever they're going through. And if they need to be medicated or happens, we kind of just work on their schedule. You know what I mean? They kind of when they feel up to it, and so what I don't really get into whether or not they're on anesthesia or going through different things. I just wait for them to be like, hey, I'm feeling
Treatment.
good today. let's jump in and then we'll just make it happen. So it's kind of like
Okay.
it's just all on them and how they're feeling, because unfortunately, the majority of the time for so many of these that I work with, they're super sick and they're now relapsed. Now they're back in the hospital for all this time, or they're getting their medication and their transfusions while we're doing this stuff. So it's all just depends on their comfort level. And again, we mix it between VR and Zoom. So if sometimes if the child is super not feeling good, we'll just strictly do a Zoom meeting, and we'll just it can be as long as like 2 hours if they're having a lot of fun. It can be as quick as 5 minutes. We could super speed and get what we need to get.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Got another question. Yeah, go on. Sorry. No, go on, James. Please.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, and it works for folks of all abilities as well. Like, I mean, we've worked with kids who can't even speak. We've actually helped them create their own cartoon music videos and their own songs they could just make a couple of sounds. From that, we auto-tune the sounds and make a whole song out of it. And then you get to see this, and you see them light up, even though they're nonverbal for so many other things. And their family, it's just so magical what can happen.
You can still reach them and move them. Yeah.
Right. And even what we did with a child who was blind from his brain tumor, they had an operation, and we ran a whole program for them and created a whole audio experience for them. So we utilized, he wanted to be driving through the jungle and save a dragon from like a cage or something. And so what we ended up doing was we'd have him sit down and we'd play with the audio, so it would go past his left ear and right ear. So there'd be tree branches coming to the left, so you'd have to lean to the left, lean to the right. So he's sitting there with his eyes closed on the couch. His family's sitting next to him. Family's bumping up and down on the couch, so it makes it feel like he's driving. And he loved it, and you can hear him. We had like. It's just really cool. So I'm just saying, there's so much you can do, no matter how they're feeling, or you just get creative with all that.
Absolutely wonderful. I did have another question. So when you and I first met, you were doing most of the work in person, and that had to transition because of the pandemic. And you by the sounds of it, it's just accelerated you, if anything, and it's opened up. It's the big virtual dream. Is that the name, or the?
Right. Yeah. Big Dreams, the virtual tour. Yeah.
Big Dreams virtual tour, exactly. And so, how much of your work is still in person? Much of it is virtual, and if the pandemic ever becomes history, will you go back to only in person, or will VR and AR persist and Zoom for you?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we've been able to like triple what we've been able to do. And I've been able to meet with so many more families, work with so many more folks, and connect with so many more. I mean, it's next level. So now I would say the majority of my work, it's about 95% is all completely virtual.
Right.
Besides like when we'll go and film a huge event, that's all like spaced out and stuff. But we just filmed that one for that boy Gavin I was telling you about. He was given that couple weeks to live. We ended up, after his whole music video was created and his video game was created, he actually drove down to Kentucky and planned a massive event to actually sit in his dream car and actually go drift racing all throughout the mall parking lot. And we got it all approved, and we had this huge event to premiere his music video and video game at the movie theater. And so the Furious folks got involved, and they heard about Gavin. They sent them a personal message. From the composer who wrote the whole song, all the songs for Fast and Furious. He got private showing. It's just the video on that one, and that was a fun one. It's so that's like that's maybe the first time I've made an in-person event in so long, but that was just so time sensitive, and we had to make it happen within like a couple days. So
amazing. We got another question here from Mitch. Mitch, let me switch you on here. I want to try that, Mitch. Let us know where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the wrong one there. Sorry.
Can you hear me? Yep.
Yeah. I was just hitting the wrong emoji button by accident. Sorry. There you go.
Thanks, Daniel. James, brilliant and so inspiring, mate. And just from an educator's in VR perspective too, it reminds us that empathy and heart has got to be sort of central to things that we do.
Yeah.
I just wanted to I guess, make an offer and make a connection to you. One of the things that I have done recently for an education outcome was to draw out all these 360 scenes, if you like, from Assassin's Creed, Origins and Odyssey, and they're these amazing vistas of ancient Egypt and ancient Greece. And we developed a method just using the in-game camera to create these 360 photospheres. And so I have a lot of these resources, and I just think it'd be great to give them a second use and another life to to help you create some worlds. So
That'd be awesome.
the other thing I wanted to say was working at a university, we're actually connected to a hospital and the children's hospital, and so I hopefully can be a conduit to connect you to someone in our part of the world. I'm in Melbourne, Australia, because we've got a children's hospital connected, kind of one hop away from us.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, feel free to reach out to me, and then I can send you all
make
the
a connection. Yeah, we'll try and link you up to
Excellent.
that.
because I've worked with all the top hospitals in the U.S. Our program is run there at each one, and so we have the credentials for everything. So that'd be so cool. We never worked in Australia yet, so that's cool.
Let's do it.
Lovely.
That'd be great.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That actually, thank you for that, Mitch. It's sparked another idea. Being able to get scenes from within games, 360 photospheres can place you in that game is really cool. Did you know, James, I imagine a couple of your, I don't want to say clients, but the kids you work with and the families you work with, they enjoy Minecraft. You know that you can do Minecraft in VR, right?
No, I didn't. That's interesting.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big one.
All right. If ever that becomes interesting, let me know, because you can do high-end Minecraft in VR. I do it with my son, and I've done it when he was in France and I'm here in the Wales. And we're playing Minecraft in VR together. It does require, well, we'll talk about it separately, but yeah, just keep it in mind, in the back of your mind. If anybody ever says Minecraft, you can go in and fly in Minecraft. It's pretty cool.
Okay, great idea.
And we just could check. Yeah, we got one more coming up. Just Tony, I'll be right with you, Tony. Just before I come to you, the other thing with you gearing up for your camp, right? If you're managing that many devices, you might be interested in learning about a remote device management solution called Grove XR. Grove XR lets you assign a number of headsets, I don't know if there's an upper limit, but certainly 30, 40, 50. Wow. And you sat at your laptop are remotely able to direct people's apps and gazes and experience on their headsets wherever they are.
Interesting. That's cool.
So in terms of sometimes in terms of onboarding, I don't know how you do the training and onboarding for people who you send VR headsets to, but it might be a quite powerful solution. Put it on. They don't have to do anything, and you can remotely kind of help them through the experience. So another person I'd love to put you in touch with is Sean. Sean from Grove XR. We can make a quick note of that.
Sounds super cool.
Sean
yeah.
And Paul Artist 3D. Yeah, because that might be quite a useful function to have in to be able to help those folks. We got another question coming in from Tony Lopez. Tony, let us know where you are. Right here in the blazer and the red shirt.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah,
hey.
Good.
And first off, I used to live in Harrisonburg, Virginia, so we may have actually crossed paths at one point, or X Labs or somewhere.
I used to go to JMU.
Yeah, I saw one of your videos. I'm like, that building looks familiar, and I checked into it. I'm like, hey. My question is about your team. How big of a team do you work with? What do they do? And how did you go from just you and the beginning idea to the team that you have now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It's still me and my wife are the main teammates doing this. But then for the only folks, we just contract out. So like if for when we need help, you know what I mean? So like for this camp,
Yeah.
like we're gonna need 10 mentors and 10 counselors, and but for the rest of the team, like we have 2 or 3 like solid musicians that are producers, and I send them the audio after we're done working, and he works that, and then he sends it back to me, and while that taking time to get creative, we send off the animations to the animation guy, and then the animation guy sends it to the video editor, and then I'll do the final proofread and cuts, and then and I'll send it back to the families. We have like a whole little group of contracted out folks to kind of make it
That's a
happen.
clever way of working. Yeah. Does that answer your
Overhead.
question?
Yeah.
Cool.
It seems like such a big thing to do. I assume you have a group of experts.
Nope. Yeah, it's not that big. So that's the cool thing. It's like you really just depends on how motivated you are, and then otherwise, and then we do outreach to all the different families from all over the country. We get connected with folks because this person knows this child that's going through it, and then they pass it on to the next, and we try to do X amount of patients in a year, and
super cool. Again, you're a hero. In my books, you're a hero. I'm just going to say it again.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Wonderful. We got a question from Laurel. Here we go. Laurel, your mic is good.
Thank you. I think that there would be many students who would volunteer to help support this as well.
Yeah.
So I would, and teachers would love it because students would be able to volunteer as well as integrate it into the coursework.
Right.
So VR and all the things. What lies ahead in the future? How do you see this growing and developing?
Yeah, I mean, we're just always on the cusp of trying to get involved with everything. You know what I mean? So whether that's face filters or the AI, the augmented reality stuff, like we're just our hands on the pulse, and we're just trying to bring as many wonderful experiences to those who need it as we can. So. I'm open to all opportunities and ideas, but I think this technology, that's the fun part, is we just get to stay up to date with the newest technology and how can we make it as accessible for this certain patient population that I'm working with. And that's kind of my focus, and just how can I preserve those voices and the legacies, because unfortunately so many of the kids I've worked with have passed on. And each one of them stays with your heart in a sense. You know what I mean? Their families become family when you're helping them create these silly songs and these videos, and so that's the work that just needs to continue happening. I need to keep preserving the voices. When my mom passed away from her cancer, it's like, wish you had more videos and audio recordings of her so you could hear that voice, because unfortunately the sound of a voice just evaporates as time goes on. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but so that's why my goal was, we need to preserve those voices in a fun time, and something silly, and help them dream big, and technology, they then become the experts. These kids who are told when to eat, what to do, what medicine they have to be on, lose control. And now we're giving them these devices and these things where then they're the boss, they're in control. They get to then teach their family, members how to do these things, and they feel like they have a mastery over something. And that's education in a nutshell of that's why education is so wonderful and moving, is because it can empower, and especially when you don't have control and you can have this type of empowerment, it really moves wonders.
Wonderful. Last chance to comment or ask James a question. I'm so glad we met when we did, and to have been a little bit of help along your journey will forever fill me with joy. And if there's, keep stay in touch, keep asking, keep thinking. Meeting people like this here who, we're all listening to you, but there are people in here I know who built worlds that have skills that and that share their work openly and freely. So consider us a resource. If you need something, email. We have a big Discord server with a lot of people that maybe you've been on already. If and also aside, I'm on the board of the Virtual World Society. They do a project called they work with Make-A-Wish Foundation, which has
awesome.
similarities. I don't know if I have set up a meeting with Tom already, but I really want you to meet Tom Furness. Have we set that up already?
Yeah, and I think I got to connect with him and his and the other person that he works with that create some incredible stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah,
Awesome.
Matt Cook.
Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So consider that a resource as well. If ever you need something, you're not sure, you know, want advice or ideas, we're here, and we want you to continue to touch these families and these people in the way that you do. I get goosebumps thinking about it. We do have another question come in though. I don't want to pass up a good question when I get it. Keely, wonderful. Keely, you should be good.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hey,
Just want to echoing what Daniel is saying. Resource, we're here for you, and I just sense a really awesome mold building challenge somewhere in the middle of it all. So please chew on that, and then like come back and let us know if that works, because I'd be more ecstatic to like just build a mold or something like that in this platform or hubs, or really any VR platform that you'd want to use. I'm always open to learning. And to just, I love VR because it brings joy to people. So I have goosebumps from your presentation. Great job.
Oh,
super
appreciate it. I will totally take you up on that. Like again, the like right now what we just have is like August 4th through the 7th. We're gonna be sending these VR kits and a whole bunch of other cool goodies, and we're gonna bring the patients into VR. And like one of the goals is to show them around. We're gonna bring them around alpacas and in Peru, and then we're gonna take them on a scavenger hunt stuff. So, but we're open to anything, how we can keep that engaging and spark that mystery and because they've never experienced VR. So anything that we can do that gets those.
Did you have a date for that, James?
August 4th through the 7th.
4th through 7th. Okay. Let's connect for that because maybe you and I can have a session and engage, and I can show you a couple of tips and tricks to add some flavor. And maybe if you're open for it, we do that open session. We can open it up to other people who can bring in ideas. Should we do that? All right. Let's you and I find a date. We'll put it on a calendar. We'll do an engaged session, and then we'll invite our community to come along and see if they have any ideas how we can support.
That'd be super helpful.
Cool. Excellent. Let's do that. Engage.
And before we go, is there any take a photo with everybody? Can we do like a team? This is just so cool. It's been so much fun to actually get to hang out with everyone.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you want everybody on stage with you, and one of us can take a picture from the top?
That would be fun. Yeah.
All right.
Whatever works.
Everybody, stage dive. Come on.
All
Get
right.
on the stage
The
with
stage
James.
is open.
Lovely. Thank you, Laurel.
Come on up.
Fantastic.
And I will get the picture. Everybody get all up on the stage. It is open.
Laurel, good point. Mitch is saying, can we get a different slide up?
Yes.
James, do you want to go to a nicer
James, you're
slide?
in charge of the slides. You want to
Lovely.
turn it back
Good
to your
point,
logo?
Mitch. Thanks.
Okay. And
he's getting the controller
go back,
there.
back.
Yeah. Lovely. Yeah, get nice
And
and
while
crowd in.
everyone is doing this, I want to thank again Jason, our Fox Cam bot, for the filming
you,
this.
Jason.
And while the slide is being changed, Jason, can you get to it? Or James, sorry, I've got too many people.
The little box disappeared.
Was it back on the wall for you?
No.
No, it's gone.
Yay. Okay, it is gone. Yep. Well, until it's
we
closed,
reset,
we can't.
or...
No, we'd have to reset the entire space. We're going to go with this. All right. I need everybody.
Okay.
So, Spidey, can you move in closer? Let's get everybody in close. And then I will want everybody to shoot up hearts. That's beautiful. Hearts, 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 hearts. There's one. Oh, that's beautiful. Perfection in one shot. Beautiful. All right.
Lovely.
All set to
it
go.
would be nice to get another one with another slide. Is there any way we can? No, we can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a real shame.
Could form the letters of his name with our arms.
Yeah, Aladdin. YMCA. Yeah. Okay. Is he? I think he jumped out. Is he coming back? I hope he's coming back. Anyway, there he is. There you are, James. Excellent.
All right, now we see it. Or are you going to try again?
Oh no.
Hey,
Okay.
there we go. Yes,
All right, if
definitely.
everybody
Now
is
let's
still
try that again.
here,
Everybody back
let's
down,
try it
please,
again.
if you will.
Everybody,
That's
come on
nice.
in.
Lovely. Everybody back down. One more round of
Yep, everybody
pictures.
come on in. Shell, if you want to join them. Anybody else? Squeeze
Lovely.
on in.
That's
Getting
the
close.
one. Okay, hearts.
Hearts, 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 hearts,
There
hearts,
we
hearts, hearts, hearts,
go.
hearts, 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 hearts. Yay! Okay, it's beautiful. Got it. Thank you. We will
you,
spread the
guys.
love on our social
Good to meet
media
you
and
all.
make sure that you get a copy of this and everything.
Boom.
Thank you.
Thanks. High five. And
Thank you all.
again, Lad in a Battle on Instagram is the best way to reach you, right? Lad in a Battle.
Got it.
We're here to support your work. Consider us a resource. I'll send an email with a couple of introductions. And let's get something set up with an Engage so we can explore a little, give you some ideas. Yeah.
And
Super
coming
cool.
up,
Go and do your
excellent.
hero
Thank
stuff.
you. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. And coming up is tomorrow is a V coaching workshop is going to be coming up right here in Altspace. You, Daniel, do you have an event coming up in Engage?
It's an Engage event, so it's not an educators event. But if you're interested to learn more about how the Engage platform runs, I've joined their team recently. We're going to be running events in Engage to showcase the tool set there, how to use it, tips and tricks and stuff like that. Yeah.
And on Friday we have we have many different teams, many team projects. Many of you are familiar with them, and our medical and healthcare team will be meeting on Friday, and their focus is going to be on emotional wellness in the healthcare industry. So how appropriate. It's by a company that specializes in bringing meditation and mindfulness training and relaxation therapies in VR to hospitals and to healthcare workers during the pandemic and beyond. And also tomorrow we have a moderation training 101 for anyone who is interested in training to help support events here in Altspace and other platforms. Thank you, Daniel.
Fantastic.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, Laurel.
Yeah, thank you, James. And stay in touch. See you soon.
Will do.
All right.
All right,
And
y'all.
to Mitch and Mark, I will.